immigration policy to be included with a bill with military aid for Ukraine, the South Pacific, and Israel will take time. Senate negotiators say they won't have anything this week. The administration says Ukraine funding will run out at the end of this month. It's China's deadliest earthquake in a decade. No fewer than 126 people were killed in a cold and mountainous region of northwest China. And a magnitude 6.2 earthquake today. More than 500 were injured, 20 unaccounted for. This is ABC News.
US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting a Teenager. Learning the lingo.
GOAT, G-O-A-T, acronym, stands for greatest of all time. As in, spaghetti sandwiches for dinner? They're my fave. Dad, you're the GOAT.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care would love you just the same. Visit adoptuskids.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
On the air since 1977, it's the Steve King Show with Brian Gregg.
Oops, sorry.
All right. Welcome back. Calls on won't stand by. Just to give you a broad overview, Parkland, Marjorie Stoneman Douglas, the site of, well, you know, that god-awful event. 15 students chased a student. 5 students have been arrested for beating a student so bad he was hospitalized. They power drived him head first into the concrete.
Wow.
The mugshots, I've seen 4 of the 5 mugshots. Okay, a 5th was arrested after the event turned himself in. The 4 mugshots, the attackers are African American teens. The victim's white. This happened last week. I'm learning about it this morning. You know, the reason that the traditional media are going out of business is not because of new things. I mean, look how hot radio is.
Good morning.
But we keep up with things. But that's the reason that the traditional media are dying. Because we're older than that, right? We're older than cable. We're older than television. This is radio. And radio's booming. It's
so how has your morning been? Boy, everybody jumped on real quick. Oh, I gotta turn on my tree.
That's why.
Turn on my tree.
So people leave it. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, it's Cynthia from Martin County.
Hey, Cynthia.
So people want to know that I wouldn't put a kid in public school. I mean, I'm sorry. No way would I put my kid in public school. There's no need to anymore. They have the whole scholarship. The whole scholarship was put forth by Citizens Alliance, which is a Florida organization started by a person that was the Tea Party. They're very influential in the State House. They've gotten a lot done. If your kid is bullied, you pull them out, and that money follows the child.
Good morning, lucky me, Linda.
Yeah, but listen. There were endless investigations and everything to keep students safe at this particular school, and one of the worst gang mob student beatdowns in the history of our community happened.
Good morning, B.
The worst school tragedy. So all these things you're talking about are good in theory if they're used.
Okay, enough of me.
First of all,
Enough
we're
of
not going
me.
to change the school. Let's start here. You get the home scholarship. It was expanded to the home
Too early for
So
me.
that money follows the child. You want to put your kid in private school, Catholic school, whatever? The money follows the child.
Yeah, but you know, a lot of parents see that's wait, hold on, Cynthia, hold on. That's not the point.
Go ahead.
A lot of parents can't do that even with that scholarship.
Oh, okay.
They don't have
Good
the time
morning,
to drive them to
good
and from
night.
and the transport. There's all kinds of problems, okay?
Captain Dan
And when
Kiwi.
you're saying you're in the public's this business is happening because teachers,
Have a good
administration, and these
night.
school cops
Sleep
are
tight.
incompetent government workers who are sitting around, driving around in golf carts, flirting on their walkie-talkies, waiting for their pension, and they don't want to get involved.
And I agree, and it's going on throughout the country. And just one more thing I'd like to add to that. The textbooks are all written by the same textbook company.
Hugs to you,
And UNESCO
Captain
is part of the
Dan
plan,
Kiwi.
which is
Hugs,
coming
hugs,
from the
hugs.
UN. You send your kid to school, I'm sorry, Moms for Liberty can talk and talk and talk and talk, and we're trying. We got 2 people on the school board here. Nothing's really changed. It's not going to change.
You know, what I want to, you know,
You
listen,
need to
this sounds
change
like
your
a hate
school
crime to me.
boards.
Okay, a pretty
You
bad one.
need to
And
change
the
your school board
the
people.
reason it's being disappeared is because the victim's white, and at least 4 of the students, because we don't know about the 5th, at least 4 of the students arrested are African American, and they don't want that out there. Just like in Broward County, the sheriff's department and the school covered up Nicholas Cruz because they didn't want arrest statistics in the school
Another
district.
day, another
Okay? They
dollar.
didn't want
Hello,
expulsion
Dee.
records and things in the school district.
How are you this morning?
I agree, Brian, but I will say one thing. Parents do not know about the Hope Scholarship. Please go to
Okay.
Citizens Alliance and get involved. And here's why. If parents understood that, a lot of these African American parents, they want their kids to get a good education. They could pull their kids out of school too.
I don't know. One of the parents here says his son's the victim. One of the parents here says his son's the victim. I don't know how you're a victim when you're part of a mob of 15 chasing a kid down the street and part of a mob of 4 or 5 giving him a beat down, but he's the victim? I mean, what the...
Why would we expect anything different? And under President Trump, I will tell you, because they sat at the table, a lot of people that I was involved with, they wanted to remove the Department of Education. That is the first thing that has to happen.
Cold
we need
outside.
to get rid of the Department of Education.
Well, yeah. All right.
So, and if you think,
At least the wind stopped blowing.
I'll give you the last word.
Go ahead. If the communists are involved everywhere, they're in your local schools, they're in your textbooks. Please go to Citizens Alliance and get involved and pass it on to
All right,
parents.
Citizens Alliance, go there. By the way, I want to know, do they have critical race theory taught at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas? I'd like to know. Might be relevant. Might be the reason this happened. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning. This is Terry from Florida. Brian, everything is not that serious. Kids will be kids.
Oh my gosh!
Sometimes.
Let me ask you this: are you punking me?
Hold up.
Are you punking me?
No. Just listen to me. This has been going on for years. Okay, kids get in fights. That's what happens. It's not that serious. Everything is not
let me tell you. I really gotta. I don't get angry. Just bear with me, okay? I don't get angry on the air too much. You know, I learned early on doing this that when you get angry and you're in a discussion, in a debate or something on the air, you lose your cool, you know. What you just did, for the first time in years, I am...
They're children.
Excuse me. Let me finish my sentence. It's about you. Maybe you'll be interested since it's about you. But what you have said so far in this call, for the first time in years, put me in a rage at somebody that called me on the air. And I've had people call in and say terrible, disgusting things. And I'll tell you why. And I'll tell you why you pissed me off. Because the perpetrators are black and the victim is white. You don't care. Because you're everything with you is through a prism of race. If it was 4 or 5 white kids attacking a black victim, you'd be all over the place blaming Trump.
If it was a white kid shooting black kids, you wouldn't be raising this much sand.
Heck yeah, I would. Heck yeah. And if you didn't notice, Cruz is a Hispanic name. See, so what you just did was acknowledging it. Because the 4 mugshots we've seen are black teenagers and the victim is white.
Thank you.
You're siding with the attackers. What's wrong with you?
How is everybody's day started so far? Mine,
Really, tell me
it's
about
a
the time
wonderful
15 students chased you
morning.
down the street and then pile drived you head first into the concrete after they were punching you and continued to beat you down on the concrete.
Oh, I had 20 kids.
Oh, 20 kids, you know.
Oh,
I really am mad at that guy. I never lose my cool with callers. And,
my brother and I don't know if you heard that,
I might have to
but
dump
apparently
I have not been ticked off at a
some
call
blacks
in years
attacked a
until I heard
white
the
boy,
disgusting filth that came out of that man's mouth.
and
You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling
my
from?
brother and I were 2 out of 100 whites
Hello?
going to an all-black school.
From Texas, and I'm really pissed off.
And I
at the
tell
last
you
caller.
what,
This
we
would have been considered a freaking lynching.
we
if it
were,
would have been the other way
everybody
around,
was awesome.
Okay?
There
This
was
is
no
it's not appropriate
problems.
for kids to beat up on each other and
Nowadays,
each other, period.
I am glad
and
that
when it
my
was-
child
when you were on
is
break,
not in
and
school
I
anymore.
just saw the video. They could have killed that kid. If it would have been
And you know what? They may still. I mean, a head injury like that after a beatdown, I'm not so confident he's doing as well as
The news
is
needs to
reporting.
go and
What's his
report
life
the
doing now?
news and not
Go
Oh,
That's horrible. And you know what? I hope the mother sues everyone and make it big. Let everyone know it's not appropriate when black people do it to white people and when white people do it to black people. Period.
All right.
This would have been a lynching.
You're right.
Oh,
Let me tell you a quick story, then we'll break. Calls on hold, stand by. About 20 years ago, there was a black Caribbean station. It was 1580. It was a Caribbean station, and
the only
did a talk show.
In that school,
And they were very
like I
left
said, my brother and I were 2 out of 100 white going to an all-black school.
Was in Davie,
And
inside of a mobile home park. Silver
the
Oak
only
Park on Davie Road, across the street from the Pyramid
thing that
Mausoleum, across the
happened
street from
in that high
Broward
school
College and all that.
was
And there was a shooting
that
in an elementary school, a school shooting.
there was a riot,
First grade student
but the riot was because they wanted we wanted a smoking area.
And we were in our cars driving separately, and they were acting appropriately. Jean Jabwin and Miss Ivy. Any of you guys remember
What
those
is
days?
wrong
a long
with
time ago. Jean Jabwin and Miss Ivy. He had a Caribbean accent on the air. When he was off the air, he sounded like me. But when he was on the air, hey mom, we're back.
Okay,
You know,
I'll
so
be right
and
back.
silly. But
Everybody
anyway,
behave.
I swear to you. I swear to you. He had a Jamaican accent on the air and had a normal American accent off the air, even during the breaks. Oh boy. But anyway, there was a school shooting. First grader shot a girl dead in his classroom. And they were talking appropriately about it. This has got awful. What happened? And Steve and I knew something they didn't know. And this, but somebody beat us to the punch. Someone called in and told them that the shooter was African American. On a dime. They didn't even take a break. They started blaming the parents and making excuses for the kid. Oh, well, you know, somebody left that gun out for that 6-year-old, 7-year-old boy to get it on a dime. They knew the victim was African, just like that caller. If you're on hold, stand by. There's one opening. Our number 1-888-GO-CANE, 1-888-465-2631. We'll be back.
Don't sit on the sidelines. Get in on the action. Call the Steve Kane Show live on air now. 888-GO-CANE-1. This is the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
Happy holidays from City Kia. This statewide Kia sales event will be held at one location only. City Kia of Greater Orlando, just off the Florida Turnpike. Drive a little, save a lot. We deliver anywhere from Orlando to Key West and everywhere in between. Celebrate this holiday season in a new City Kia. City Kia is the #1 Kia volume dealer in all of Central Florida. Nobody beats a City Kia deal. Nobody. Save up to $8,000 on a new City Kia. Wow. Upside down on your trade, get up to $5,000 over KBB fair market value. New wheels from only $15,999. Rates as low as 0.9%. New Kia Telluride from only $299 a month. Spin the prize wheel with every purchase. Everyone's a winner. This statewide Kia sales event will be held at one location only. City Kia of Greater Orlando, just off the Florida Turnpike. Drive a little, save a lot. City Kia's here.
Okay.
CityKia.com.
Hello, Barbara.
Are you living your
D.
best life?
Kit
Are you feeling
Kat.
the way you know you
Good
should be?
morning.
This is John, CFO at Lighthouse Medical Center. Our hormone optimization therapy programs have helped so many people get back to
I
feeling the way they
haven't
did in
checked
their
the
20s.
weather
Their
yet.
full
Let's
energy
see.
after a
Let's
long
see if I
day
can do
reduces
this
their
without.
risk of heart disease, sexual vigor and excitement are great, sleeping the way they should without disturbances, and reducing their symptoms of aging.
Let's
Our
see.
all-natural
Right
hormone
now,
optimization therapy is precise,
right now
easy,
it's
and effective
34.
from day one. Office visits are usually less
The
than
high
5
is
times
supposed
per
to be
year, and the cost is
45,
only
and the low
$150 a
tonight
month
is
for most
33.
Let our medical team get you optimized
So,
and living your best life. Our family
hey
medical practice
baby,
has been
it's
serving South
cold
Florida for over 71
outside.
years. Let us show you what personalized medical care and being treated like family feels like. Call us at 754-222-6642. That's 754-222-6642. Or visit us at lighthousemedicalcenter.com to schedule your consultation today.
You know what? Never mind. I'm going to keep my mouth shut. I don't want to get in trouble.
Get 60% off on all cruises to the Bahamas.
starting at just $59 a person. Celebrate the season with fun-soaked cruises on the Margaritaville at Sea Paradise. Sailing 2- and 3-night getaways from Palm Beach to Grand Bahama Island. Plus, kick off your new year in a margarita state of mind. Get 5 free drinks on all January and February sailings. Savor this season's greetings and book today at margaritavillasea.com.
Oh, last night was. I want to thank everybody that came in last night. That was so much fun.
You're not invited, but the rest of you are. We leave April 27th on board the Celebrity Beyond, the flagship of celebrity cruises. We're going to the ABC.
Oh my goodness.
Bonaire, and Aruba.
Well,
we have shore excursions
you can
every
keep it
port,
up
and I'll
over
be
there,
with you.
okay?
We'll have dinner together every night.
I bet you are. I bet you are, Susan. I had to put some extra clothing on this morning.
561-244-5779. 561-244-5779.
Last night was so much fun. I want to thank everybody that was here.
Brian Craig. Listen in the Palm Beaches on 95.9 FM, the Treasure Coast on 106.9 FM, hear us in Boca on 95.3 FM, Fort Lauderdale on 96.9
I know it's
FM,
early.
and anywhere in the world at TrueOldiesFLA.com.
All right, callers on hold standby. One opening on the board.
Yeah.
1-888-GO-CANE-1.
Yeah,
If you're
I was
planning
up
on
at 6,
retiring in the
but
next
I
6
just laid in
days, 6
bed and
months,
just
in the new year, a year from
listened
now,
to
2
my
years
radio
from
show,
now,
and
or any point in your life, you need a plan of action and
then I got
advice
tired
from a
of
retirement expert who's seen it all.
I got tired of
And then, of course,
laying
there's
there,
Joe
so
Thomas.
I
You know,
figured,
Joe
well, I'll
Thomas,
get
he's
up.
president of Retirement Network Advisors, which is South Florida's premier retirement experts. And he's been doing that for over 20 years. He also hosts a radio show right here on True Oldies, the Jupiter Joe Money Show. He's been doing that for over a decade. He's on throughout the week and even on Saturdays. He's offering free phone consultations no matter where you're located, and you want to give him a call. Take advantage. I'm going to give you the number in a moment and his website. Take
I
advantage
kind
of
of
this
have to
free
keep it down a little bit because
consultation with
my
Joe Thomas. He's a
king
retirement expert.
is sleeping,
Talk to him about annuities. You know, with
so I have
annuities,
to kind of keep it
you're not
low
going to
gear
lose money.
here.
You're not risking your money, and you'll have guaranteed income for the
He's
rest
been having a
of
tough
your
time
life.
with sleeping
Stocks,
lately,
bonds, mutual
so
funds, 401ks, IRAs.
I
You're not
let
guaranteed
him
income
sleep
with all
in.
those. Give him a call. Take advantage. Also, he's going to give you a free copy of his book, The Retirement Know-It-All. Here's his number, 561-743-0999. 561-743-0999. Online, jupiterjoe.com. You can get the number there if you missed it, jupiterjoe.com. All right, I'm going to go to the phones before I recap this story. And I planned on talking about this interview that Tucker Carlson did that I'll try to get to later. But I don't have time to recap it because people are holding, and since the media aren't doing it, I'm hoping to get some information from our audience. We've already gotten a little bit. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Brian, Eddie, Fort Lauderdale. How are you?
All right, what's up?
I'm stumped. I'm fuming over that call that you had. I hope to God this guy doesn't have any kids. Kids hear his attitude or his take on what he just said has given them carte blanche to do and act up the way they want to do in school. It's incredible to me, that kind of sentiment that kids are just kids. I mean, you know, a silly 2-second pushing match is one thing, but with what these kids did to that poor guy there is beyond insane, and you just cannot just say, "Oh, kids will be kids."
I can imagine
To me, this is
I
like
can
attempted
imagine.
murder to me. Pile drive head first.
I hate it when storms hit at
that's
night.
beyond criminal, man. There's no way you can't say that kids will be kids. This is not a simple 2-second pushing match here. No way. You know, I left New York. I retired from New York 2 years ago to come down to Florida. And I just read in a news feed yesterday. I live in...
Wonderful.
In Lake Worth and live in Lauderhill. And I read in a news feed yesterday.
You're retiring in 3 more days.
Lake Worth and Lauderhill. I'm like, are you kidding me? I just moved down here 2 years ago.
Well, congratulations.
And this is
I retired years ago.
More homework to figure out where I was going to work and live.
And I kind of miss it.
You know, Lauderhill's not bad. I used to live in Lauderhill for a brief time when I first got married many years ago. It's not that bad. Jackie Gleason used to live there, you know. So
yeah, he did. He did.
It was a long time ago.
Here's the thing, my wife. My wife and I, we just bought our house. We closed on it a month ago.
Welcome,
and,
everybody.
This past weekend, somebody tried to break in. Got them on camera.
All I ask is
sometimes,
everybody
what
to
is
be
happening?
respectful.
What is going on, you know? Where else do I gotta
And
live? Gotta go down to, I don't know. Gotta go somewhere.
Yeah.
Be happy.
Yeah. All right. I appreciate the call. Welcome
no
to Florida.
name
Ron
calling.
DeSantis is Florida. You're on the air. By the way, Governor DeSantis, he should be here. He should be here and deal with this. Okay, I don't even know if he lives in Florida anymore. Does he have a residence in Iowa? He's been there all year. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Brian. This is Ronnie Vic W.
Hey, Ronnie.
West Palm Beach. You know what? I just at this point in time, you know, I really think people have lost their brains. It's just amazing to me how anybody could justify something like that to be done to another human being. You know, I mean, that is incredible. And I hope, I'm a person of color, I'm a black man, and I'm going to say it like this here because I don't sit in the middle. I'm either for or against. For those who believe in all this violence, you know what? You shouldn't be celebrating Martin Luther King's Day when it comes about. Because number one, they're going against all the grain of what he believed in. He said, don't judge by the content, the color of your skin, but by the content of your character.
Amen.
And it's just in reverse. Everything.
You know, let me tell you. You know, I mentioned in the last hour when I was in Stranahan High School, we had Cracker Slap Day when I was in ninth grade. And do you know? Let me tell you, this is insane. What inspired Cracker Slap Day? A dean who was my dean got arrested for having sex with a student. And the student was white and the dean was black, and it made the news because, you know, that's a sex crime. And because the black dean rape, I mean, that's statutory rape, a white girl, the black students the next day decided that it was Cracker Slap Day and that they were justified in attacking the white students at the school. That was my school. I was there that day. They didn't tell me it was Cracker Slap Day when Mom sent me to school that day. But I found out real quick when I went down one of the stairwells and the walls were covered in blood from a student. You know, and that's this. But this critical race theory, I find it, and I'll ask you, I find it hard to believe there's not a racial component to this case. It's too intense. Too intense.
Oh, it is. It is. Because, like, I have plenty white friends, like I said, you know. And
how come I never heard about that? About that incident in Florida.
It's not about, hey, what can I do to this individual and what should I be doing to this individual? Because, first of all, in my Father's kingdom, it says, for there were many people that no man could number. And it didn't say black, white, green, purple, blue. It said people. And
people,
these are idiots.
Exactly.
Well, let me tell you what's going on. To have a country, there are certain shared things that you have. Borders, right? A common language and a common culture. And what liberals have done are brainwash non-white students, non-white people to hate white people. And that's what critical race theory is about. That's why, look at this mayor in Boston with her Christmas party where whites aren't allowed, you know, and she's, okay, she already had the party, no one cares, it's even out of the news, you know. The racism for minorities towards whites is acceptable in our society now, sadly.
I heard about that situation. But so that's my point.
Yeah, now, they are. And it's really, really sad. It just...
That's right. That's right.
Why should they even bring him up? That was not what he was about. But you want to stand on his threshold and say, I am supporting what he believes. No, you're not. You're supporting what a bunch of ignorant idiots have come up with.
All right,
boy, this gentleman is mad.
Call us on hold. Stand by back after this.
That gentleman was.
Feel great again. I think you're gonna really love it. It's the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
Well, I think a lot of people are waking up. At least the older generation is waking up and opening their eyes and seeing what is happening.
Here's the oldies forecast.
Good morning, everybody. Hope you're
With
off to
the
a great
younger
start.
generation,
It's colder today than it was yesterday.
that
Starting
really
out in the
worries
40s and
me.
50s across the area. En route to a daytime high again of 70 degrees below average, but plenty of sun. I'm WPB Up 25 First Warning Meteorologist Sandra Shaw.
Weather brought to you by Palm Beach
Last
Patio
night,
Furniture. Route
when I
1
got
Civil
off my
Plaza
live,
Shops,
I
North
said I
Palm
was going
Beach.
to
Palm
go to
Beach
bed,
Patio
but
Furniture. Voted in the best of
I
the best
didn't.
patio
I
store
started
in Palm
doing
Beach
more
County.
research
Palm
on my
Beach
local
Patio
government,
Furniture.com, where luxurious outdoor spaces are created.
and I think I finally made my decision on who to vote for city council.
Full speed right now between Boca Raton and Jupiter. However, we do have a multi-vehicle crash right now in West Palm along Okeechobee Boulevard or Church Street. Also a crash on Lake Worth along 441 at Lake Worth Road. Blue Heron Boulevard still shut down by construction between President Barack Obama Highway and US 1. Take West 13th Street or Silver Beach Road instead. This report is sponsored by Discover. Did you know Discover wants everyone to feel special?
I'm really
That's why when
concerned
you're a
about
Discover
our
card, you have
younger
access to
generation.
24/7 customer service as well as $0 fraud liability, which means you never held responsible for unauthorized purchases. Learn more at discover.com/credit card. Limitations apply. That's traffic. I'm Chris Barr.
Traffic, a service of the Palm Beach Kennel Club. BBKC show tickets and dining certificates make great holiday gifts. In 2024, the Paddock has a full lineup of fun events, including comedian Sarge, January 12th, Anthony Rodia in February, Adam Carolla in March, and Pauly Shore in April. Our fabulous dinner shows, including Yellow Brick Road, a tribute to Elton John, Portrait of Aretha, Chris McDonald's Valentine's Day dinner, So Good, the Neil Diamond Experience, and Petty Nicks. For a full schedule and tickets, go to pbkennelclub.com, and happy holidays from
I
PBKC.
wish when I was younger that I paid more attention
This is Brian Craig,
to
and I want to tell you
what
about my
was going
anti-aging
on.
doctor, Dr. Mitch Matez at the Biostation West El Rey, and hormone replacement pellet therapy. Hormone replacement pellet therapy is all natural.
But I'm making
What
up
does
for
is
it
restore
now.
your hormones to where they were when you were in your 20s. You'll feel younger, you'll have more energy, you'll get your sex drive back, and women, hormone replacement pellet therapy completely stops and reverses all the signs and symptoms of menopause.
I
No
never
sweats
heard
gone,
of
night
what
sweats
happened in
gone.
Florida
I've listeners
about
before and after hormone
them
replacement
attacking a
pellet
white
therapy with Dr. Matez.
boy.
When I first meet him, they're like Joe Biden, and no one wants to be like him. And then I meet him again after
This
the
is why I
beginning of
like this
replacement
show,
pellet
because
therapy,
he
and they
does
have
a
their
lot
energy
of
back, just
research,
like
and
Trump.
he
They're
missed
stadium
this.
tall, and
How
they
he
feel
missed
years
this,
younger. Now, it's
you
always a
know,
free consultation
I don't
with
know
Dr.
when
Matez.
this
You tell
happened.
him you heard about him on the radio.
I didn't
561-320-8893.
wake up exactly at 6 to hear when it happened, but the news should have reported it. And we don't have no more investigating news people. You know, when I was growing up, the news would investigate this stuff. But like Brian says, all they do is cut and paste, cut and paste, cut and paste. They don't report the news anymore.
Mention my name, John Tesh. You'll receive a free copy of Joe's book.
They don't investigate to see what's going on. They pass it along from one to another, and then the story changes as it goes. I mean,
Alexa, what's the longest running radio show in the state of Florida?
it's just like, you know, I tell you something, and then you go tell somebody else, and this is exactly what's happening here on YouTube.
Hi, this is Maureen Cohen from Nutrition World Palm Beach
People
Gardens.
tell
We're so
a
excited to
person
be celebrating
something,
50 years here in
and that
South
person
Florida.
tells
The Cohen
somebody
family started
else,
their first
and then
health food
everything
store in
changes
1972,
around.
and ever since have been one of the
The
largest
story
locally
changes.
owned, family-run health food stores in the area. We carry thousands of supplements like vitamins, minerals, herbs, homeopathics, diet and fitness, and so much more. All
You
your
know, the
favorite
story
top-quality
changes,
brands.
and that's
We also
exactly
have
what's
tons of
going
natural
on here
foods
on
like
YouTube.
gluten-free,
I have
paleo, and
noticed
organic, as well as healthy
on
beauty aids,
everywhere
pet
I
foods,
have
and more.
been.
Visit Vanessa, Trish, Denton, Scott, and Bruce. They're here 7
And
days a
that's
week for all
exactly
your
what's
family's
happening with the
natural health
news.
needs. So stop by Nutrition World at the northeast corner of PG Boulevard and
They
Prosperity Farms
don't
Road
do
in
their
the Carmine's Market
research.
Plaza by the Prosperity entrance. You can
Or
call us
some
or text
people
us
know how to
anytime
do
at
the research.
561
I don't know.
626-4377. That's 626-4377. Or check out our website at nutritionworld.com. Come
But
see
people
us
need to
7 days
open
a
their
week
eyes
at
and see
Nutrition
what's
World,
going
Palm
on.
Beach Gardens.
Are you exhausted after work with no energy left in the tank to give your family? Are you having a
And see,
midday crash
that's
on
what
a daily
they're
basis? Women, are menopause
that's what our
symptoms like
government's
hot
afraid
flashes,
of. You know,
anxiety, and
people
depression making
are
your daily life
opening their
far more
eyes
difficult than
and
it should? Men, do you
and
feel like you're
seeing,
aging
and that's
far
why they're
beyond
trying
what
to
you should?
shut
Is your
everybody up.
sexual life and relationship suffering because of disappointments in the bedroom? Then take action and and let
I
our
gotta keep
medical
my
team at
voice
Lighthouse
down. I'm
Medical
getting
Center help
loud.
you stop the symptoms that are holding you back. We use all-natural hormone optimization therapies with precision technology to help solve your problematic symptoms. Our family-owned practice has had the honor of serving our South Florida community for over 71 years. Call us right now and let our medical team get you optimized and feeling the way that you should. Life is too short to be running at less than 100%. You and your family deserve the best version of you. Call us at 754-222-6642 or visit us at lighthousemedicalcenter.com to schedule
That's just
your
like the
consultation
news that
today.
never reported
Now,
when
back to
Trump
the
was in
Steve
office.
Kane Show with Brian
Trump
Craig,
never took
celebrating
a
46
took a
years on the air.
paycheck.
All right, welcome back. Calls on
He
hold.
never
Stand
took a
by. As the
paycheck.
show goes on, I'm going to get
And
into
he
some other topics
donated
because there
it
are some big
to
things,
black
including some stuff
colleges.
with Tucker I want to get
So
into. But this is like
people
breaking
don't.
news that we're talking
The
about
news
today.
don't
It's important.
want
I know it's a
to
local story,
let
but
that
this is
get
a
out.
national story.
He
As well. Let's
he
take
don't
some more
need
calls on it, though. You're on
our
the air.
money.
What's your name?
He's
Where are
got
you calling
enough.
from? Good morning. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hello?
Yes, you're on the air.
My name's Angela. I'm calling from Coral Springs.
Okay.
But anyway, enough of that.
I'm calling
Because I know there's people
I'm
that
calling
probably
because,
hear that
the
are on the
fight
other
actually
side,
occurred
and that's
at
okay.
North Community Park
That's
in Coral
okay.
Springs.
Well, that's a
And
parking
Coral
lot.
Springs-
That's a parking lot where students from Marjorie Stoneman Douglas park.
Yes, but Coral Springs Police
you
Department
know.
was actually notified that morning that this incident was going to occur. They claim that they had an officer there. However, I don't know how you missed the incident. And they've also been notified that this week that part 2 of that fight is going to occur.
Oh, great. So you've got, slow down a second here. You've got some inside info. I can't, you sound young. Are you a parent, a student? What's your...
I'm a parent.
Okay. So what's the word on the mean streets of Parkland as to why 15 students chased one child down the street to this parking lot, and then he got a beat down by 4 or 5 of them? What inspired this?
That information, I don't have that information. I'm friends with a friend with one of the mothers, but I just want to point out that Coral Springs was notified also.
Wait a minute, you're friend. Hold on. You're friends with friends of one of the mothers of the people involved?
One of their kids is friends with some of the kids, and
that were part of the
making my point though.
Well, I heard your point, but I'm not. But you're friends with a mother of one of the kids that did the beatdown?
No. The Parkland mothers.
Okay, so there's no. Now let me ask you this, okay? With the words on the streets over there in Coral Springs, 5 kids were arrested. I've seen mugshots of 4. The 4 I've seen, they're black. The victim's white. Any word on whether was this a racial incident? Was this a racial hate crime? Did the skin color have anything to do with this?
In my opinion, which I really didn't want to give opinions, absolutely. I don't see how it could not.
What about, there's a story about someone had a knife. Do you know who had the knife?
No, right now there's a story going out about part 2 of the fight.
Tell me about that part.
Part 2?
All right, so not a lot of information there, but we've gotten some. Oh, my goodness. If they were notified that this was going to happen, they should have been everywhere. Why would I don't like to say that's like my least favorite word in the English language is telling people what they should be doing. But if they had intel that something was going to happen, especially at that school, but at any school, they should have had the place surrounded.
And this is the school that that had problems before.
Let's just go. I'm just getting aggravated. You're on the air.
Yeah, it's Renee from Harlem.
Oh, here's Renee. Oh boy, this got to be good.
Play some music or something for an introduction.
Okay, D.
Whatever you want to do, buddy. Listen.
Oh my goodness.
You're such a racist bigot. I wonder what you think about Hannah Payne. Are you mad about her?
I don't know who that is.
You don't know who that is, do you?
I just said I don't know who that is.
Chased down that 62-year-old man and shot him when he was having a diabetic attack.
Well, she should go to prison. If what you said is true, she should go to prison.
Yeah, she's getting life.
Good.
Explain to me what that has to do with this incident of the beatdown of the student that I'm talking about.
Actually, they're lucky that boy he survived.
Oh my
Yeah, they are, because
goodness.
they'd be going to prison.
Breathing. What?
What point are you trying to make, Renee?
The point is that white boy got what he deserved.
Because he's white?
Oh my God.
Yes.
What does that mean?
Oh my God.
Tell me about that.
Did I just
You
listen?
deserve it. All of it.
You're telling me a child,
Listen to this
because
man.
he's white, deserves to be nearly killed? Is that what you're saying?
No, this is not the bus driver.
Man.
He
You're
said
so one-sided and
No, there's no, yeah. I'm one-sided.
Oh my goodness. I can't believe that this man said
that. Physically attacked or harmed by other people. That's what I think. Yes.
Oh yeah. So say something about George Floyd.
What about him?
What about him? Did he deserve what happened to him?
No.
So what do you think about that? Was that a good thing? Was that a bad thing? Are you just as upset about that?
Was a bad thing. No. Excuse me. This is worse. There was a gang of 15 who chased a student down the street, and they could have killed him. Okay? So this is pretty bad. But,
and Renee said good.
I feel bad for
Renee
George Floyd
said good.
And everyone else involved in that. Absolutely. Surprise.
George Floyd did die, didn't he?
Yes.
Yeah. And these kids are alive. So where's the equality of your outrage?
They have nothing to do with one
You're
another.
so full of it.
Good
In fact, when George
morning,
Floyd
Red
died,
Mama. Good
I'm not going to go
morning.
through what I did the next day on the air, but I did
celebrate.
No,
Oh
I
my
did not.
goodness. I can't
I'll
believe
tell you exactly what I did, and people in this audience will back it up. See, I've been through this before when there's been racial issues in our country, and they're god awful.
Oh yeah, you were part of it.
No,
Oh.
not part of it, but I've excuse
Renee.
me, I'm talking. But an observer like you all, and have seen how bad they can be. Unless you want to include that Cracker Slap Day, which was pretty violent, that I was there during. That was rough. But no, and what I did the day after, I saw what was
heard
about
that
to
you
happen
got some snow
with
down
George
there,
Floyd,
Red
because the way
Mama.
the news was carrying it, and I opened the show. I brought to the radio station that day a Bible, which I don't normally do. I brought a Bible, and I opened the show up with the Lord's Prayer that day.
Oh, really?
Yeah, in fact, if you go on my YouTube channel, it's up there. All right, I don't have time to talk to jerks.
Thank you, Brian.
Oh, boy. Where are we going? We're going here. Okay, you're on the air.
Hi, good morning.
Yes. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Oh, hot chocolate.
St. Lucie.
Hey, what's up?
So, listen, I think it's time that you put some of these guys that be calling here on a timeout. You cannot have guys, you are conservative talk radio, and these guys are peddling hate.
Yes,
Those
they
two
are.
callers, and you know who I'm talking about, need a 30-day, 60-day time out.
You could do that on your radio show, excuse me. Hold on. Let's have it. Excuse me. A radio. No. Those calls. Slow down. Excuse me. Slow
Brian.
down for a second, Port St. Lucie. Slow down. All right.
I lived up the street from that guy.
Hold on a second. I wanted. You've made a charge here, and I'm gonna explain something to you. Those two callers.
You have to explain nothing to me.
I do have to explain because you don't understand. You don't understand. Okay? Let me explain something to you. You might learn something. All right? Or do you not want to learn? You just want
to stop peddling stuff.
Can you stop talking for a second? Oh, he hung up. Okay. Boy. And I was upset that my wife and I, we were going to move to Port St. Lucie earlier in the year, and then we found out that they had the highest property income tax in the state of Florida and some other problems, so we didn't. But now I'm glad I didn't. I thought it was a nice town with nice people. Okay. Renee from Harlem and the other guy whose name I forgot that ticked me off with the racist rhetoric. Those calls help. Those calls help because it puts a voice, it puts a face.
Yeah, you need to go out and take a picture and put it on your community
when something like this happens.
Site.
Don't
so
you
that
understand?
we can all see
those
the
calls
snow.
Are spectacular help to the situation that this country is facing. I don't think people realize how bad it is. You know, when you have your politicians like this,
and
like these college heads that won't condemn calling for the genocide of Jews.
People were saying that Trump was going to cause a race war.
You know, and they've got handlers. And after
no,
they do it, they go in like
he never did. Look
even though they're
what's happening now.
And all this
Look
stuff.
who we have in the
But when you
White
hear
House.
the inner ugliness of what goes on in people like that,
and who is a racist,
it's a wake-up call to people.
Who is?
So those calls are very constructive and add a lot to the program. It's not just some shtick. It's not just some gimmick. I know it's show is the last word in the title of Steve Kane's show, but it's more of a program than a show. But
I'm going to look for the video of our so-called president talking
I got
about
a question why that guy doesn't want them to be heard. Maybe he
how
agrees with them and he's smart enough not
racist.
To say it. Like those idiots are too stupid not to say what they're really thinking. We'll be back.
That's my goal today, is to look for that video.
Truth. Delivered morning 6 to 9 right here on The Steve Kane Show.
Hi, this is Vicki Lawrence. A fast-talking Hollywood agent has persuaded me to co-star in a two-woman show with that crazy old woman from Mama's Family.
And who makes it a two-woman show?
None other than that poster girl for Change of Life, the star of Mama's Family, Thelma Harper.
In the flesh, unplugged, on the edge.
That's a scary thought. Join us for Vicki Lawrence and Mama, a two-woman show.
Vicki Lawrence and Mama, January 10th. Get tickets now at parkerplayhouse.com.
I wished I lived in Florida. I would go see that. I loved
with a homeowners association
the Golden Girls and Mamas. Oh.
At Laporta Contracting. Tom Laporta,
Okay, I'll be right back. I'm gonna go check on the hubby.
Contracting was voted one of the best general contractor and best roofers in South Florida. He's honest, knowledgeable, and reliable, and will never sell you a roof you don't need. If you have an insurance claim, call your insurance company immediately. Then call Tom Laporta. New laws are in effect that allow Tom to negotiate directly with your insurance company on the cost of all repairs, so you don't necessarily need to employ a public adjuster or a lawyer. Tom can handle any type of roofing job too. Residential roofing and repair, commercial roofs, schools, municipal buildings, office buildings, emergency repairs. If it's roofing, Tom Laporta can do it. Call Tom Laporta right now. 954-604-4602. 954-604-4602. And online, LaportaContracting.com.
Hey, this is Gabriel with Florida Cash Home Buyers. We're looking to buy more houses here in South Florida and would love to make you a no-obligation cash offer on your home. If you own a house, condo, or any other type of property and want to sell it quickly with no hassles, call me at 561-570-7070. We've been buying houses since 2011 and helped hundreds of homeowners sell their homes without the hassles and costs of listing with an agent. We're rated A+ with the Better Business Bureau and have over 100 excellent online reviews from our happy sellers. People love working with us, and so will you. Whether you have a damaged fixer-upper home or a beautiful home that doesn't need any repairs, we can buy it. You don't need to clean or fix anything, and there's no commissions or closing costs. If you want to sell your home easily on your terms, call us today for a free offer. 561-570-7070. That's 561-570-7070. 561-570-7070.
Have you put off buying new tires because you thought they were too expensive? Find friendly prices at Friendly Tire and Margate on both new and used tires. New tires as low as $70 a tire. That's out the door and on the road, because Friendly Tire doesn't charge you to balance the tire or mount the tire. They have thousands of used tires in stock too, starting at just $30. Call for a quote right over the phone. 954-977-9445. 954-977-9445.
We take on the social justice warriors for breakfast. Now the Steve Kane Show is on the air.
All right, welcome back. If you're on hold, stand by. You know, that last caller from Port St. Lucie, he's all angry at me. I didn't hear any complaints. I didn't hear any negative comments about the mob that beat down this child at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas. Now, I was listening during the break. Tom Laporta from Laporta Contracting, who will never sell you a roof you do not need. Just to give you some information about Tom Laporta, the weather we had over the weekend was brutal, wasn't it? Friday and Saturday. Oh, my goodness. It wasn't just the rain. It was the wind. I bet you We certainly had tropical storm force winds. I was real nervous because I just planted in my backyard. I planted an orange tree, a lemon tree, an avocado tree, and a mango tree. And let me tell you, those trees, they ain't cheap. And I was so afraid the wind was going to blow them down. One of the orange tree, I got to straighten up a little bit. But I'm sure we had tropical storm force winds. We may have had even hurricane strength wind gusts. I would not be surprised. The winds, the rains were bad. If you got a wet spot on your ceiling, you've got a leak in your roof. You want to call Tom Laporta. He covers the entire state of Florida.
Well,
East
thank
Coast,
you
West
guys
Coast,
for coming in.
Keys, Miami.
I know it's early
wherever
in the
you are in
morning.
the state of Florida, Tom Laporta can help.
Everybody's waking up.
He does every type of structure, single-family homes, condos, HOAs, office buildings, churches, municipal buildings, and he works with every type of roofing material too. Okay, well, if there's a roofing material, he works with it. So give him a call. This number rings directly to Tom Laporta's cell phone, 954-604-4602. 954-604-4602, and online, LaportaContracting.com. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Brian. Jason Boca.
Hey.
You know, it comes down to the violence of today has repeated itself in the violence of the 60s.
Exactly.
And it's all induced by government.
Yep.
Like you said something
That's
I didn't
exactly
know about,
what I was saying earlier.
There's a law or something.
It's all induced by the government.
I know there's No Child Left Behind, but you said another one this morning about the school itself.
Mm-hmm.
What was that?
Yeah, a caller called in. I'd forgotten the name of it now off the top of my head. I'm so fuming with rage today on the program. My thoughts.
No, I understand completely. I
can't remember.
I heard the shot. I heard the gunshots at the school that morning.
Marjorie Stoneman Douglas?
Yeah. I just got back from church. It was last
If
Wednesday.
y'all would like, Brian Craig has a YouTube channel.
It's the ignorance of people raising their children. No one has any responsibility.
No, what happened? Listen. For those that are just tuning in, let me do a recap. Then we'll talk. A child was almost beaten to death at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School last week. We're just finding out about it today. 5 students have been arrested. 4 mugshots have been released. I haven't seen the 5th. The
I'm gonna have to
ones
go.
that did the beat down, that beat this kid really bad, black, victim white. Not only was he being punched, he was picked up by one of the students, slammed on the ground head first into the concrete. He was continually beaten after that. A mob of 15 students chased the student down the street. This was at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School, the site of the incident. And I believe there's a high likelihood that there's a racial component to this, and that's why there's a cover-up. It's like this gay sex scandal in the Senate. It's already gone from the media. No one's doing any follow-up on it because it involves a gay Democrat. This is bad. And for this to happen at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas, the school, the administration, the school resource officer, they all failed again.
Well, did the one caller from Coral Springs say that the police were notified about this? So
that's what the lady said. I don't have that confirmed, but she said that they were.
But it really just comes down to...
This happened last week.
No one got God in their life, and no one cares about the human race
that
anymore.
Of course, is
it's all
true.
greed.
But the Democrats are bringing race hatred back. You know, this mayor of Boston with her holiday party that segregated whites.
Yeah, Yancy.
When the
like I said earlier,
federal laws in this
country
did not also allow minorities to segregate. That's to protect all people. And they brought in this critical race theory. They brought in all of this stuff that's been going on. And look at some of these liberal black callers I've had today, justifying the actions. You know, the Democrats, it started with George Floyd. They used that to cause racial divisions in this country that are worse than we realize. And I find it impossible to believe that there's not a racial component to this child being beaten almost to death by other children. And, you know, as far as I'm concerned, that's why the story's not being covered. I mean, this happened last week. I found out about it this morning on my way in to the radio station.
Well, I'm going to be doing a little more research today to find that article.
we're going to do in this society.
And I am going to pass it around.
Vamped up around 08
let's
when
see.
President Obama got in.
Hold on.
Because I
I'm
moved
going
away from Chicago down to Florida because of it.
Well, where's Governor DeSantis? You know, where's Ron DeSantis?
X, rather.
Ron DeSantis should be here.
See what I can find out there.
He appointed this sheriff of Broward County. He's since been reelected, but he appointed him, and we just had what I would consider to be one of the most, short of a shooting incident, when we talk about a fight incident, one of the worst physical altercations involving students at one of our schools here in Florida ever. And where's he at? He's up there with Walmart Melania in Iowa.
No wonder my sister left Florida.
To say, if it takes 15 people to beat up one, then they're a bunch of scaredy cats.
Okay, yeah, all right, take care. Thanks for the call. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
All right.
Brian?
Yes.
Yes. Hi, this is Dana from Coral Springs.
Oh, maybe you got some info. Hold on a second here. I'm hearing myself in the background, so I don't know if you've got me on speaker, Bluetooth, or what. But if you're on speaker or Bluetooth, pick up the phone.
Okay, got it back.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, I met you all at Wings Plus the other day. I want to say we had a great time.
Thank you.
Got together. As far as it just being reported, you know, I hate the liberal Sun Sentinel. However, I like to read the local news.
Yeah.
So the day after the thing happened, the
right
Sun
now
Sentinel,
I'm doing
with
some
the kid being
research,
attacked,
so
the Sun
y'all
Sentinel
can talk
reported
amongst
that the
yourselves.
Child, the kid from Marjorie
But
Stoneman
let's be respectful
the
to
parking
everybody,
lot is not
okay?
on school grounds. It's on community property.
Hold on.
You know,
Let me clarify this. There's a parking lot that students park in that's down the street from the school, but walking distance. So I consider that part of the school area of responsibility if they're allowing students to park there. But yes.
No, the students have to pay a $50 fee to park there, an annual fee.
Wow.
And that annual fee is supposedly to go towards a little bit of security.
Oh, really?
The Coral Springs, yes, the Coral Springs Police Department monitors, that's their district. The sheriff's office is the school district. So it was not on school grounds.
Oh, please. Yeah, hold on.
Yeah.
No, not yet. And BSO is Broward County. Their jurisdiction goes into every city and town, and I think you could, even if it didn't, I think you can cross the line if there's 15 students chasing another child down the street. So I don't want to hear any jurisdictional crap. And if that is a place that the school is allowing students to park, and I know where it is, it's a short walk from the school. That's still within the realm of the coverage area of the administration and everybody else, as far as I'm concerned. But what else do you know about it? I don't want to give you a hard time. I want to get information.
Okay, well, exactly. Apparently, 4 days earlier, there was a similar kind of altercation. So the day that this incident happened with the kid beating, he had asked his friends to walk into the parking lot after school so he could get his car, because he felt like he knew something was going to happen, more than likely. Okay, so he didn't want to walk to his car by himself.
Yes.
So the friend walks with him, and this was 4 days earlier. The friend walks with him to the car, and then they start attacking the kid, who was the target.
Wow.
So the friend that was walking with him, when it started to happen,
oh my goodness! I'm just watching the video of this kid being beaten.
Did he call 911? I'm sure he had a phone.
Oh my goodness!
I don't know who called 911.
I heard something about a knife in one of the stories too.
I don't know. I didn't read that. But the story broke in the Sun Sentinel the day after it happened. And then they had another follow-up. And in today's paper, there's another follow-up. They're looking for another 6 suspects.
A sixth? Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, it was reported earlier on.
The Sun Sentinel. I mean, give me a break. The Sun Sentinel.
I know.
I mean, how many pages does the Sun Sentinel have? 5 pages. It's a pamphlet. Remember the Jewish Journal? The Jewish Journal.
I've got to wait for the commercials.
The Sun Sentinel is today. But I'll tell you this. Okay. This story,
oh my gosh,
without question, is being downplayed because of the racial component, and there's got to be a hate crime element to this. I don't care what happened between these guys. Nothing justifies what happened.
But if the child, if the kid was going to be victimized,
oh my gosh.
You know, they're afraid of getting bullied and so forth like that. If the kid had an inkling this was going to happen, he should have contacted
Oh,
the principal.
shit.
Maybe he did. Let's find out what happened. I'm sure the Sun Sentinel will get to the bottom of it. Do they still have reporters? All right, thanks for the info. I got to run for the break. Okay. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show. Back after this.
WWNN Pompano Beach, WIRK HD3 Indiantown. Programming paid for by Vic Canales Media Group. Broadcasting from the Road Studio. Injured recently?
Oh, that poor kid.
Where winning is a habit. 561-570-5700.
All right, let's see how I can get this out.
Groves, winning for you and our community. Your home for the Steve Kane Show. From the Palm Beach Patio Furniture Weather Center, where luxurious outdoor spaces are created.
Let's see, there was a 15-year-old, 16-year-old, 17-year-old, another 16-year-old, and another 17-year-old.
High again of 70 degrees below average, but plenty of sun. I'm WPVF 25 First Warning meteorologist Sandra Shaw.
Weather brought to you by Palm Beach Patio Furniture. Route 1 Seminole Plaza Shops, North Palm Beach. Palm Beach Patio Furniture. Voted in the best of the best patio store in Palm Beach County. PalmBeachPatioFurniture.com, where luxurious outdoor spaces are created.
And now, a True Oldies traffic check. Brought to you by the Palm Beach Kennel Club.
Right now in the Palm Beaches, we are accident-free on the expressways. We do have a crash off to the left shoulder along I-95 heading northbound at Linton Boulevard.
And this was the site of the shooting.
South of the Beeline Highway. A crash lingers also in Lake Worth along 441 at Lake Worth Road. A crash now cleared High Biloxi Road at Seacrest Boulevard. Also
goodness.
Military Trail. This report is sponsored by Dell Technologies.
Morning.
Holiday event is the outdoors biggest sale of the year. For a limited time, go beyond performance on select gaming laptops featuring Intel Core processors. Plus, shop Alienware monitors and accessories. Shop now at alienware.com/deals. Let's drop on Chris Barr.
Traffic, a service of the Palm Beach Kennel Club. Come out to the newly renovated poker room at PBKC with cash games, high-hand giveaways, mega bad beat jackpots, and big money tournaments. You can also play your favorite casino table games like Ultimate Texas Hold'em.
It didn't show him picking him up and... Oh yeah, it did. It showed him picking him up and throwing him on the ground, on the concrete.
TVs, exceptional eats, and a full bar. PBKC tickets and dining certificates make great holiday gifts. Go to pbkennelclub.com and happy holidays from PBKC.
Happy holidays from City Kia. This statewide
Oh, and they're
Kia sales
laughing
event
about
will be
it.
held at one location only. City
Oh,
Kia
their
of
parents
Greater
should be
Orlando, just off the
proud.
Florida Turnpike. Drive a little, save a lot. We deliver anywhere from Orlando to Key West and everywhere in between. Celebrate this holiday season in a new City Kia. City Kia is the #1 Kia volume dealer in all of Central Florida. Nobody beats a City Kia deal. Nobody. Save up to $8,000 on a new City Kia. Wow. Upside down on your trade. Get up to $5,000 over KBB fair market value.
Well, hello, Vinny.
It's going to be a tough back to school on Wednesday for students at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School, Parkland, Florida. The gunman killed 17 students and staff.
Okay, let's see. I don't see any place where I could share it to YouTube, so let's see. Okay, I can share it on Facebook, so.
I'm Richard Cantu. Escandalo in the U.S. Senate.
This is a breach of trust.
Maryland Democratic Senator Ben Cardin talking about a purported sex tape recorded in a Senate hearing room of two
Okay,
men
let me
in
put a
flagrante.
claimer
It's a
on.
personnel issue.
This was over the weekend when I learned about it.
Oh.
Made sure that he was separated, so he left the Senate employment.
And Capitol Police are investigating. Heading to yes on a deal on immigration policy to be included with a bill with military aid for Ukraine, the South Pacific, and Israel will take time. Senate negotiators say they won't have anything this week. The administration says Ukraine funding will run out at the end of this month. It's China's deadliest earthquake in a decade. No fewer than 126 people were killed in a cold and mountainous region of northwest China, and a magnitude 6.2 earthquake today. More than 500 were injured, 20 unaccounted for. This is ABC News.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting a Teenager. Learning the lingo.
GOAT, G-O-A-T, acronym, stands for Greatest of All Time, as in spaghetti sandwiches for dinner. They're my fave. Dad, you're the GOAT.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent.
Let's post
Thousands
that
of
on
teens in foster care
Facebook.
will love you just the same. Visit adoptuskids.org.
This needs to get out. I mean, this is the first time I've ever heard of it.
On the air since 1977, it's the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
Oh.
All right. The third hour has begun. I'm
Who
Brian.
was
Steve
taking these
us.
pictures?
Rough show today, I must tell you. Oh, my goodness.
Oh.
Stevie,
It's a rough show on my end, I'll tell you, because everything is not working technically.
Well, can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
This
well,
is
that's good. Then we're all good to go. If I can hear you and you can hear me, that's all we need, Steve.
Okay.
We need nothing else.
Could I put in a request? You teased this thing with Tucker.
Okay, I've had enough of
I've
this.
not heard this.
No, I'm going to get into this now. Well, it's not a thing with Tucker. Tucker did an interview. I want to play some clips.
Yeah,
I'll get
like
to it. I'll get to it, but I just
at
I
least
just want to
15,
just finish up on the other story first, though, and then I'll get to this. This you cannot depend on the Sun Sentinel
15 blacks attacked a white
They're
boy
liberal hacks.
at
Even
Michael
though the paper
Douglas.
is 6 to 7 pages now, they
You
still
know
think
where
that
that
the
mass
Ivory Tower
shooting
in the 70s
was?
and 80s. They probably saw the big office spaces. If anyone in this listening audience
They
has any
literally
details
beat
on
the
this Marjorie
hell out of
Stoneman
this
Douglas
poor
incident,
kid.
we're easy to get a hold of here on the Steve Kane Show, okay? Through all our socials
And I just
websites and
now
everything
heard
else.
about it.
And,
This happened last
I'm gonna
week.
keep following this
And
story.
I
It's
just
very
now heard about
important.
it today
And,
on my
feel
show
free
that I listened to.
You know, I'm imagining, Steve, you're going to get some calls from some of your cop friends. They're going to tell you, I hate cops today. You know, like that sometimes happens, but, you know, whatever. So be it.
Like cop friends?
Yeah, one of your cop friends wanted, you know, that doesn't, you know, really hates me. I'm sorry when, you know, they're not perfect. Tucker Carlson,
They
I'm going
picked
to
up
get
this
into some of this
kid
other stuff because I got a
and
lot to get into. That this thing with the
slammed
school, I found
him,
out on
his
my way
head
in this
into the
morning, so it kinda
concrete.
changed gears on where I was going to go at the start of the show, and then when it started, I thought I would just talk about it for a segment or two, and then the phone lit up, and we've gotten a lot of information from the investigative team known as our listening audience, and I appreciate that. No. Tucker Carlson was at Turning Point USA, and he did an interview.
They're not
He was
going to
interviewed
report
by
it anymore.
Charlie Kirk, Tim Pool, and some others. And he just shared his opinions on a few things that I thought were interesting and relevant, in particular about Nikki Haley and Kinky Boots Ron DeSantis. And I thought I would just play those and we would talk about them. It's just a little harder for me to focus in on that when this other stuff happened. But this
I think
is
the last caller
Tim
was
Pool,
saying that
Charlie
the
Kirk,
parking
they're
lot is
interviewing
not
Tucker,
part of the school.
And, you know, Tucker gave a speech at Turning Point.
And that's the way it is
USA,
here, too.
And then after the speech,
parking lot
they interviewed him. So let me play the first clip. This
isn't
Tucker
part
with Tim
of the
Pool.
school.
You really get the sense that Ron DeSantis, who I liked as governor, the people who represent him online are the nastiest, the stupidest, and the most zero-sum people I've ever seen in my life. And I don't think that reflects him, but it's like, this is kind of small ball. And by the way, these purported conservatives, Ron DeSantis changed his view, and I like him. Okay, I think he's been a good governor. I just want to be clear about that. I know him personally. I like him.
Welcome, everybody.
But his donor, Ken Griffin, told him to change his view on Ukraine from it's a regional conflict we shouldn't get involved in to it's a super important thing we should send more money.
Thank you, Vinny. I'm sorry. I missed anybody that came in. I'm so sorry.
Like, who are these people?
I just got wrapped up into this
This
stuff.
is not about what, you know, I'm against us being involved in the war in Ukraine, but this is not about what your position is on Ukraine, okay? Take it apart from this. Ron DeSantis had the Trump position, right? U.S. involvement, there should be no U.S. involvement in Ukraine. Ron DeSantis had that position. One donor donated money, and he changed his position on a dime, a position that could get us involved in the Third World War. Now, regardless of what your opinion is on Ukraine, this is the problem. His position was bought by one donor.
I'm not ignoring you guys.
I'm to have in a leadership position in this country.
Trying to
one
do
donor
more things
can
here.
Get them to change their opinion on such a huge matter that could result in death.
Bear with me, okay?
He says he's a good guy and he's friends with him, but that was a terrible comment by Tucker Carlson of Ron DeSantis, because it's true. And you know what's scary? When he has to drop out of this race eventually, he's still going to be our governor. You know, and we're going to have a couple years of this Joker, and he's going to come back here, and he's going to be pissed off and mad at us. And basically what Tucker says is he's for sale, Steve. That Ron DeSantis is for sale. And, you know, one of the things about Trump that I like, and some of the people he brought in, like Mnuchin, these guys are so rich they can't be bought. Ron DeSantis is like a middle-class guy, which is fine. I'm a middle-class guy, but I'm not for sale. You know? And because one donor donated money, he's willing to send Americans into harm's way against Russia because some rich guy gave him a few bucks. That sounds like a dangerous person, Steve, to me, and Ron DeSantis. What are your thoughts?
December 23rd.
I don't know. I mean, it's hard not hearing it firsthand.
Are you hearing it now? I just played it for you. Couldn't hear it? You can't hear the audio bites.
No.
Let me play one real quick. Let me play it again, and then you can... let me know if you can hear it. Hold on.
You really get the sense that Ron DeSantis, who I liked as governor...
You can't hear that?
I heard that.
Okay, okay. I'll play it for you again, and then we'll move on to the next one. Okay.
But Tucker said he's up for sale. I heard that.
Yeah. Well, yeah, he is. I'll play. Listen, let me play it again.
You really get the sense that Ron DeSantis, who I liked as governor...
Now you can hear Tucker there?
Yes.
Okay, let me play it.
The people who represent him online are the nastiest, the stupidest, and the most zero-sum people I've ever seen in my life. And I don't think that reflects him, but it's like...
Yes, but I've turned it into my room. We spend more time in the family room instead of the living room.
To change his view on Ukraine from it's a regional conflict we shouldn't get involved in to it's a super important thing we should send more money.
You haven't seen my room.
And all these so-called conservatives are supporting it like it's the most important thing ever.
Okay, so one donor gives DeSantis some money, and DeSantis is ready to get us involved in a war. That means he's for sale. He could be bought. That's very dangerous. It does have to do. I know you're pro involvement. It's not about that, Steve. If someone that's to me, what Tucker is saying is that Ron DeSantis is corrupt.
Okay, I'm trying to figure out how to put
anybody who's
this
supporting Ron DeSantis right now.
article.
Well, I haven't supported DeSantis for.
I know, but I haven't. But Tucker Carlson, you know, listen.
Plus the other thing is, in my humble opinion, he's not a player. DeSantis. I told you this months ago. He might as well not be there.
Steve, he's still going to be our governor when he comes back for 2 years. Okay, so he's a player in our lives. Okay. And that's
projecting what kind of mood he's going to be in when he gets back, and what you asked me what I think. I don't know. I don't find it fruitful.
So if you're on hold, hang in there. We'll get to the phones in a.
Is that the Ron DeSantis?
No, I got more on Tucker. I mean, Steve, I can't. You told me to do what you had on Tucker. I'm sharing it.
You're doing good.
Don't complain. I'm sharing it with you. This is an interview again. Tucker did a Turning Point with Tim Pool and Charlie Kirk, and here's Tucker talking about Nikki Haley.
Someone asked me, would you vote for Trump if he chose Nikki as VP? And
would you guys vote for Trump? Well, that's the question that I asked you specifically. Well, I would not only not vote for that ticket, I would advocate against it as strongly as I could.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, that's just poison. I mean, here's someone who's actively opposed to the interests of the country I grew up in, who endorsed the BLM riots, and who is not only is not left, but is neoliberal in the darkest, most, speaking of nihilistic way, and has no real popular support. Is a creature of the oligarchs. So yeah, that would be reason to oppose the ticket.
Wow. So that was amazing, because that's a big news drop right there. The question was to Tucker, would you vote for Donald Trump if he picked Nikki Haley as his vice president? He said not only would he not vote for a Trump-Nikki Haley ticket, he would advocate against it. And then he talked about how she or advocate against it. So that's a pretty big deal that Tucker said that about Nikki Haley, and and that point that he made there about her was interesting. Is because he said she endorsed the BLM riots.
They don't give you a link on
and
here.
Hold her accountable. I did not know that, and I'd like to hear those comments. But see, this is the interesting thing, because Tucker Carlson has Donald Trump's ear. So these things he's saying about DeSantis, about Nikki Haley, This is what Trump's thinking. Now, I got 2 more clips of him, and then we'll move on. But first, let's take a break. Those of you on hold, stand by. We'll take some calls, too. I got 2 more clips on Tucker that I want to get to after the break. Our number toll-free, 1-888-GO-KANE 1-888-465-2631. We'll be right back.
Where is the link? Where is the link? We need a link.
Call the Steve Kane Show live on air now. 888-GO-KANE-1. This is the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
When you need lab work, don't waste hours and hours waiting at the doctor's office or one of those big labs. Go to Any Lab Test Now of Boca and Any Lab Test Now of Coral Springs. Their prices are guaranteed to be the lowest you'll find anywhere. No appointment, doctor's order, or prescription is needed, and you're in and out in 15 minutes or less. They offer every lab and blood work your doctor could order. They even have drug testing and STD testing. Take control of your health care and visit Any Lab Test Now of Boca and Any Lab Test Now of Coral Springs. There's lots of Any Lab Test Nows around, but these are the only 2 advertising on our radio station. So don't use the rest. Only go to Any Lab Test Now of Boca and Any Lab Test Now of Coral Springs. And make sure you tell them you heard about them on the radio. All right, and it's time to check in with
Attorney
Barry Siegel from the
send
Siegel
you a
Law
link
Group.
to
Attorney Barry
copy.
Siegel, good morning.
Good morning. How are you today, Brian?
Great. What do you have for us this morning?
Well, I've been talking about it all week. This is the last chance. If you wanted to make good with your New Year's resolutions for 2023, at least from the standpoint of coming to a seminar to start the estate planning process, if you want to start the process, come to one of our workshops and actually also get a discount on any estate planning that you ultimately do with the Siegel Law Group. Today's the day. This morning, 10 a.m. I do know we have a few seats left that are available. That it's going to be first come, first serve. Whoever calls our office.
I found a link on the video itself, but I wanted to get
we are going to be discussing
the whole article.
Good decisions when it comes to planning. What type of plan is right for you and your family? What's involved in a revocable living trust? What do you need to know to have a well-drafted trust? Why some estate plans don't work, and what we do to make our estate plans work? What service package and extra tools that you get so that you'll have an estate plan that's going to work for you.
Enough. I'll look later. I'm not.
This morning at our workshop, and the next ones won't be until
I want to get
January.
this stuff out.
So if you want to get it taken care of in 2023, today's the day.
Yeah, and you know, with the workshop that Attorney Barry Siegel has, you get a few things. First off, you're going to get a discount on the legal services, which is huge. And you'll watch Barry's presentation, and you will see how ironclad and detailed and how protective these things are for you and your family in every possible scenario that you couldn't even fathom. But they've seen it all over there at the Siegel Law Group. But you also get a chance to meet Attorney Barry Siegel and the staff of the Siegel Law Group.
That's enough.
And get to know them a little bit and get to know the people that you're going to be working with. So give them a call. I'll give you the number.
Okay.
If you missed the number, go
What's
to the website,
everybody's day? What are you going to be doing today?
10 a.m.
10 a.m. So,
Anything
listen,
interesting?
an hour and 42 minutes from now, but you can still make it in there. The number is, if someone call, will there be? I'm assuming because the workshop's at 10, people will be in to answer their phones if they call this morning.
Yeah, absolutely.
855-FLA-3782. 855-FLA-3782. Again, 855-FLA-3782. All right, Attorney Barry Siegel. We'll talk later in the week.
All right. Thank you, Brian.
All right, back after this.
Now, back to the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig. Listen in the Palm Beaches on 95.9 FM, the Treasure Coast on 106.9 FM, hear us in Boca on 95.3 FM, Fort Lauderdale on 96.9 FM,
and reposted it on X. So.
All right, we are back. I'm Brian. Steve Kane is here. Call us on hold. Stand by.
Here.
One. I got 2 more clips of Tucker, and
all I have is Brian Craig, so I'm going to post it on my community
and I'm saving
page.
a really good one for last. Look, the last thing he says was during his speech.
All I could
I've
find.
never heard a conservative say what he said the way he said it.
So,
like at his
let's
level,
go
it's pretty
do
interesting.
this.
So we'll get to that in a minute. But this is another clip from the interview of Tucker with Charlie Kirk and Tim Pool.
Tucker, what do you make of
I
that?
hope
That all of a
this
sudden
works.
the home of not just America First, but skepticism about these foreign wars and adventures now lives in the conservative movement.
Well, I think, of course, it's mostly Trump who did that. And
Okay,
it
I
was just
I
the
posted
pivotal moment in the
Brian
last election,
Craig's
in the 2016 election that changed my view of
X
everything, was the night of the debate in Greenville, South Carolina,
article
when
on
Trump
this.
said, you know, that we didn't get anything out of the Iraq War. It was a mistake. And I remember all the dumbos on television. I mean, covering politics is the easiest thing you could ever cover, right? And so these are mouth breathers. These are low IQ people. And they immediately checked those. Oh, South Carolina is the highest military population per capita of any state. And so they all are looking, he said that in South Carolina. He criticized the Iraq War. He's going to get creamed in the primary. And I thought the people I know, having been in Iraq and knowing a lot of people who served there, the people who are maddest about the Iraq War, the people whose lives were disrupted or ended or severely injured by that war. And of course he won. And it was at that moment, he won the South Carolina primary, it was at that moment that they decided, Bill Kristol and the rest of the ghouls, who were trying to think about how to subvert this campaign and draw its energy for their own dark ends, they decided, we have to stop him, and that's when the realignment happened on the left, where Liz Cheney and Bill Kristol and all these people whose core problem is they could never admit that the great adventure of their life, the Iraq War, was wrong. They could never admit it.
Okay, I posted
Liz Cheney has lived with this burden. She's
Brian
obviously a bloodthirsty
Craig's
freak, but one of the reasons that she is a bloodthirsty freak
post
is that
about
she's never been able to
the
be honest
beating
about her own complicity in this crime.
on
And
my
if she would, she
community
would be totally
page.
free of all that, and she'd be like a normal human being who her husband could love again, and it would just be all good.
Okay, so that clip there. Now, what's interesting about that clip is he was talking
Okay,
about the first campaign.
this festival or whatever, is that going to be on TV or
Iraq, and he won South Carolina, and not only did he win South Carolina
or
in
what?
the primary, he won the military vote in South Carolina.
Now you tell me if that's not a hate crime.
And he's anti-Ukraine war, and South Carolina is number 3 on the list of primaries. So Tucker's predicting a win in South Carolina for Donald Trump. And remember,
this
on that
happened last
Nikki
week.
Haley, who was twice elected governor of South Carolina. So that's a lot of good, interesting stuff came from Tucker at Turning Point. Now, this last clip is from his speech. And the reason I play this,
yes, it is,
I
but
believe that
people
Tucker
need to be
Carlson is
aware
an
of
advisor
it.
to President Trump. I believe
People
that
need to
he's
control
an
their
advisor
kids. That's the
that
thing.
President Trump calls upon and asks for his advice. I do believe that. But I also believe that President Trump listens to Tucker Carlson when he's out there speaking. I'm sure this interview Tucker did has been seen by President Trump. If not, it will be. And I think he takes to heart what Tucker Carlson says is very, very good, important advice, and takes it to heart. And President Trump overturned Roe v. Wade with his Supreme Court picks. And what we keep hearing from a lot of conservatives,
Well, I think they're charging him with
mostly the
felony.
Weekly Standard type conservatives, the Liz Cheney types, is that abortion is a losing issue for Republicans, right? Abortion is a losing issue for Republicans. They keep telling us that. And Tucker was talking about abortion in a way that I've never seen a top conservative.
But we have never had this
radical pro-life
big of a
talk this way,
problem.
but I've never seen someone with the ear to the president talk this way about abortion. This was during Tucker's speech on stage at Turning Point. Hold on. Rewind it. There we go. I got so many clips. Here we go.
So I do think that countries like people suffer consequences for immorality.
Hi,
And if your
Duda.
country celebrates
Good
it, if it
morning.
elevates abortion as a positive good, a means of freedom, it's just child sacrifice. That's exactly what that is. And mutilating children, discarding children, promoting prostitution, selling people's bodies? What? I think you suffer consequences. I think there's a lot of evidence that you do. And again, I'm not a theologian. Don't ask me about the end times. I have no idea. But that is a very dangerous thing to do, and we are doing it.
Okay, so I gotta say, I'm sure you probably agree with this, that Tucker's an advisor to President Trump. He said abortion is child sacrifice. That's amazing. I've never heard somebody at that level say it like that.
Oh.
That means that's what I think. What Tucker says is the way Trump's thinking. And I think that's a good thing. So things are looking good for us, Steve. And this Tucker was just on fire at Turning Point over the weekend. Mm-hmm. All right, our number 1-888-GO-KANE-1, 888-465-2631. You're welcome to call in about any and everything we brought up since 6 a.m. Let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Brian. This is Barbara in Baltimore. Great show.
Hey, Barb.
Hey, hey, Steve. Tucker is on point. about everything, and what you're saying is absolutely correct. I do believe that he's not a mouthpiece for Donald Trump, but he does put things in the right perspective.
This is,
You know, he's calmer about
there
how he
is
says
a
what he says.
person I'm looking
child sacrifice, that was
on
huge.
What he said,
X,
you know,
and
listen,
you know how in the pharmacy they have
Tucker Carlson
some of the major
President
drugs
Trump's
locked up.
personal friends.
Well,
Him,
this
Kim
guy
Bach,
went
and a
in
handful of
with a
others.
torch,
They hang out
you
together.
know, one of those little
They socialize together
torches,
beyond through the realm
and
of, you know, business or politics.
broke in, and he's
And
getting
when Tucker
all
Carlson
kinds of medication out of it. And this
How
is
many times you
happening
turn on
in
conservatives and say, stay away from
Walgreens in
abortion?
New
That's
York
losing.
City.
And Tucker's telling Trump to support abortion to get elected is child sacrifice to get elected. So stick
And
with
he's
the
got
pro-life
a
position. That's Tucker's
bag
advice,
full
Trump
of
is going to
drugs,
from
and
that.
he's off he goes.
Well,
Oh, wait a minute, he
Donald
stopped.
Trump has
He stopped to
moved
pick up
away
some
from
more
being
stuff.
pro-life.
Not at all.
It's the messaging. Yeah, it's the messaging that Republicans have. What I found out just being in the street, I was getting signatures because I live in Maryland, and here a baby can be aborted up to 9 months, and that is the thing that most
And before he
people
walks
do
out,
not
he picks
understand.
up
I got
another
a
one. Oh my
bunch of signatures.
goodness.
We were only 5,000 short of cutting that thing out of, getting rid of that part of the abortion law, but people are not aware of that. They're not aware of what it means, partial birth abortion. You need to just spell it out to them. You got to.
Who's at fault? The guy on the motorcycle's at fault. He shouldn't be riding in.
You got to spell it out. You know, we don't have to. It's not rocket science. And most people, and I found this out at shopping centers. I got signatures here in Maryland trying to help to stop this thing. And most people, in fact, everyone I spoke to.
Oh, that's cool, Chilled.
That you could.
Well, unfortunately, you're in Maryland, but you know, Roe v. Wade.
And Doodah, you're cold,
stopped
huh?
states from restricting abortion, and now that it was overturned because of President Trump, eventually there'll be restrictions in even liberal areas over the course of time.
Well,
because
that's going to happen, but that's why it's a state issue, and that's why it's not a federal issue. And in the states, people are losing when they take this, like Doug Mastriano up in Pennsylvania, no exceptions. You can't do it like that. But anyway, I love what Tucker's doing, but I just wanted to comment about what happened at that school. This kid that was beat up. This, let me tell you something. You saw that because it was so horrific and it's on the news. But this sort of stuff happens around this country every day. What has happened in this country because of critical race theory and white people?
Oh, you saw it, Jill?
Black kids are the victims.
Yeah, it definitely. That poor kid.
Go to school. This is real.
Let me tell you another reason this is important.
Much worse.
To me, every one of those kids that were watching this happen should be charged.
Roger Stone, the great Roger Stone, he lives in Broward County, where this school is. Okay, and Roger Stone said critical race theory is still being taught in Florida, and Ron DeSantis needs to get out of Iowa. You're going to lose anyway. Come down here, accept your defeat like a man, do your damn job, and find out if critical race theory is being taught in Broward County. I'm telling you, critical race theory has
I'm glad my son is grown.
Listen, Barbara, got to run. I'm sorry you called up against the break, but
and I thought when he was
making morning radio great again. I think you're gonna really love it.
and thought he was in a bad school, but no way.
The greatest rock and roll hits of the 60s and 70s coming up this morning. From the Palm Beach
And that's where our taxes are going, to these schools. Yep.
Here's the oldies forecast.
That's why I'm involved with our school board. We have some not so good school board members. And hopefully, I know we have a city council election. And I thought I saw some signs on
oldies traffic check.
City council.
Brought to you
So
by the Palm Beach Kennel Club.
Right now in West Palm Beach on the I-95 northbound off-ramp to Blue Heron.
now that I looked on the city council, I'm starting to check out our school board now. So,
multi-vehicle crash has 2 left lanes blocked with stop and go
but
on the
yeah,
approach. I-95 heading northbound after Congress Avenue, a crash off to
if
the
you
right
want
shoulder.
change, start with your local government
And we also have a crash in
and
Boynton
then
Beach
work
on
your
Military
way
Drive,
up.
Boynton Beach Boulevard. This report is sponsored by
Because you're
Lowe's.
not going to get anything done unless you
deals.
start with your local.
4-foot fiberglass step ladder was $59.98, now $29.98, because Lowe's knows deals every day, valid through 12/20 while supplies last. Selection varies by location. That's traffic. I'm Chris Barr.
Traffic, a service of the Palm Beach Kennel Club. PBKC show tickets and dining certificates make great holiday gifts. In 2024, the Paddock has a full lineup of fun events, including comedian Sarge, January 12th.
I had a young man, he come to the door for one of the candidates for city council the other day, and he was so impressed.
Happy holidays from PBKC.
You know how you keep the other side away from your house from coming to your door and ringing your doorbell? Just put a Trump sign out front.
And work ethic is second to none. We install
they won't come up to your door.
Clay and concrete tile, standing metal seam, slate tile, and flat roof systems. We work with homeowners, HOAs.
But they do sometimes catch me when I'm down on getting the mail or something. They catch me.
At LaPorta Contracting,
I'll listen to them. I'll listen to their point of view. But they've got to listen to mine too. And they don't want to. They don't want to listen to other people's sides. They're so set in their ways.
On our website at laportacontracting.com. That number again is 954.
And when you point out something good,
He's known worldwide as the
they change the subject real quick.
live in concert. The Voice of Romance Tour. Saturday, January 13th at the Kravis Center. Over 65 years of romance continues in an evening.
I get a lot of people, you know, I have the Trump sticker on the back of my window, you know, with the Trump face, like he's riding in the back of my car, back seat. I get and when I stop to get gas, I get a lot of people come up to me and they say they're sorry that they voted for who they voted for. And all I can say is, you know, to them is to just do research. Do your research.
716-4879. 1-800-716-4879.
Yeah, chill.
You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Jersey Mike from West Palm
Like I said, when my brother and I were going to high school in Suffolk, Virginia, we were 2 out of 100 whites to go to this all-black school. And we got along wonderful. I mean,
Call Joe Thomas for your free phone consultation.
but there was one incident that happened, and I laugh about it now. But I was in the restroom, and I come out, and there was a whole group of black people on my where I was at. And I thought, well, what the hell is going on, you know? So I'm walking through, and I find out they were, everybody, even the whites were all getting together, and they were protesting the principal.
Yeah, they've been there.
Everybody wanted their demands were they wanted a smoking area. So, I tell you what, I laugh about it now, but at that time I was kind of scared.
Pilgrims came to
Hi,
America,
babe.
killed the Indians, stole all the land, and then they brought Africans here to make them slaves. That's all you learned
Okay.
in school. But when I grew up, we learned.
But yeah, at that time I was scared. But when I found out what was going on, I joined in.
Davy Crockett and Colonel Travis and all those.
But that was the only incident that we've had in that school, and I'll never forget the school, John F. Kennedy.
Insane. Right now, just at this moment,
I'll never forget
talking
it.
about over the course of 24 hours. Right now, there are more Mexicans invading America at the southern border than attack the Alamo.
Yeah,
That's
that
not an
was
exaggeration.
my incident
It's
with.
believed that about 1,800.
I don't know if you want to call it a riot or whatever, but that was
the Alamo.
The closest I came to.
There are many thousands more than that right now.
Now I laugh about it.
At the southern border, and that's why there's such a negative opinion towards maintaining the sovereignty of Ukrainian borders.
But that's how it was when I was growing up in high school. We all got along.
The video of what's going on in the southern border, I don't even want to watch it. It is. I'll tell you, the video of the invasion at the southern border,
Child. That's
a larger invasion.
That's what I think. I'm paying taxes.
That is not an exaggeration.
To a school
to put in context.
that I don't have children going to or grandchildren going to, but I still have a right.
An Alamo happening every few hours.
Because that's where my money is going.
Border, Eagle Pass right now. Every reporter at the southern border with different media outlets says some of them have been there for years, some of them have been there for months. They've never seen a massive.
Some people don't want to get involved because they don't have. They say they don't have children or anybody going to this school, but their taxes are going to these schools. So you do have a voice.
This morning, we are losing our civilization. We're losing our country. This country is being invaded by foreigners.
See, I have to
You do have a voice.
And I'll tell you why I disagree with you. I think what you're seeing now are the final death throes.
I'll be right back. My bird is calling me. He wants out. So
that in order for things to really
I'll be right
start
back.
to get meaningfully better, that things are going to have to get a lot worse, and that's exactly what's happening now. And it's going to get worse and worse and worse. And what's going to happen in the end is going to lead to the election of Donald Trump.
True,
so
but
the
Steve,
long-range thing is going to be good.
But how many millions? But how many millions of illegals are going to be embedded in our society?
You have no choice. This is a process. You understand what I'm saying? So until we go through this, the country goes through this process, this thing is not going to stop. People are getting fed up and more angry and more angry and more angry. And you know what's going to culminate? It's going to culminate in the election.
Yeah.
And the Democrats are going to get annihilated.
But Steve, let me tell you, yes, you're correct. But in the long term, see, what's going on here is the Democrats are more patient. If you're on hold, stand by. Just let me make this comment, then we'll go to the phones. The Democrat leadership is more patient than people realize. Okay? The Democrat Party, they've already accepted the re-election of the previous president.
That bird has got me well trained.
Down the road.
Just like my dog did.
Moving past the Trump second term is one strategy, and that is turning Texas blue. Texas is a huge state with so many electoral. If we lose Texas to the Democrats, the country is done. Republicans cannot win if Texas goes blue. And what's going on at the southern border is to make Texas blue. And they're thinking about years down the road.
The only reason I disagree with that is because basically what's going on now is the Mexicans I know all this replacement stuff, but the Mexicans that are moving into the United States, and we were told with this replacement.
Okay, I got a half an hour.
They're gonna
and then I got to get off.
The bottom line is they're all starting to vote
husband
Republican.
has a 30-minute pill he has to take, and he can't eat anything before that. So
I don't believe that.
when his alarm goes off, I got to go start breakfast.
I'm talking about. I don't believe the news. The millions that are pouring in at Eagle Pass are not Republicans, Steve. I mean, they're wearing Biden shirts. You want to take some calls?
Sure.
All right, let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, this is Richie. Good morning.
Hey, Rich.
Good morning, Steve. I hear this is very interesting what you're talking about. But earlier you just talked about abortion, and I think both of you have the right position, but I think that you're both blinded by preaching to the choir. And I know you both have adopted children, and I know Brian is really 150% against abortion, which I am also. I've told Brian in the past, what you guys don't realize is not the Republican messaging on abortion.
Wrapped up
it's the
like
fact that it's a red button item for the Democrats. On X, almost every other thing is abortion taking away the women's rights. This is, we didn't have the red wave because of abortion.
So says Carl Rose. So what, let me ask you this, Richie. So what you're saying is, to use the words of the great Tucker Carlson, we should sacrifice children into volcanoes to kids win? Is that what you're suggesting?
I'm suggesting the fact that, I'm telling you the fact that you want to get Democrats out there to vote. Keep on bringing up abortion and see what happens. I understand that you have a strong feeling about this, and I'm not talking about sacrifice, but if you want to win an election, how do you think you said that there was no big demonstrations after the abortion issue.
No.
But the elections in Ohio, the elections with the red wave, with the Senate, the Congress, you can forget about it.
Listen, Cleveland, I can't remember the name of the county, Cleveland, it starts with an M. Cleveland and Cincinnati and Columbus, because my hometown's Columbus, Ohio. That's where the three big voting blocks in Ohio come from: Cleveland, Cincinnati, and Columbus. Those cities are BLM. Okay, they're controlled by BLM. So there's a black Democrat votes. I'm not gonna Fox News keeps telling us. Okay,
I love
Kellyanne
doing
Conway
research.
is an advisor to President Trump. Tucker Carlson's an advisor to Trump. Both of them have said this week to not go light on abortion, go stronger on abortion. We'll win more if we're honest about our position. And I think Kellyanne Conway and Tucker Carlson know a little bit more than you and I about such things.
Yeah, but listen, what it is doing is bringing out Democrats. That it's not a matter of
says who?
Well,
Karl Rove?
Says go look at you.
We won
New Year's
the midterms, Richie. We won the midterms.
Eve, which is coming up in no time.
That's not true.
I will be putting smoking.
We won the House of Representatives.
I am going to try to go cold turkey like I've done before.
Olympic medals by 100th of a second. So what? Let me finish, Richie. Let me finish, okay, about this. The reason we didn't perform better in the midterms is because there was President Trump traveled around campaigning for everyone running for federal office.
When that happens, so look out.
The TV didn't carry one of them. So they didn't get proper television coverage because they wanted a narrative that Trump was lost. And I'll tell you what, Fox News, I think they're pro-abortion because they got a lot of pretty girls on TV that have had them. Okay, and they got a lot of sex problems there. They got a lot of guys that have paid for them. Okay, so that's why they talk about it so much.
But it's bringing Democrats out there to vote, and they have more Democrats in this country than Republicans.
Right.
If they all show up,
you're wrong. Okay, Richard, appreciate that.
Yeah, I've got to figure out. I gotta. Thanks to Hash Browns last night, he taught me a few things about YouTube, and I've got to go take care of that today, so Hash Browns, thank you.
Lara Logan's the reporter that was raped covering the Muslim Spring. Remember that, when she was reporting on it for the networks? And she is a great reporter, Lara Logan. But let's take our break first, and we'll see if we have time for that. I want to play a clip. She interviewed a congressman about January 6th who broke major news. So this is something that you will not want to miss because I don't think this is going to get coverage.
They're not
in very many
getting
places
that
because it
good
doesn't fit the narrative.
education
Our number
like
toll-free
we did,
1-888 go Kane 1. You're listening
like
to
my
the Steve Kane Show,
son.
Florida's longest running radio show on the radio since 1977, celebrating 46
When they
years on the
stopped
radio.
teaching cursive of,
we got to get new bumpers on the show because starting January 1st, celebrating 47 years on the radio, the Steve Kane Show. So can you believe it? We're almost can you imagine? When you first, let me ask you, when you first started doing the show,
I started back when my sister,
did you have to do like,
stopped smoking for about a year and a half, and then my sister moved in with us,
how did you take calls?
and she smoked,
did you have to hold that thing up
and
to your
even
ear
though
and
she
yell at
went
you
out
to
in the
make a phone?
garage and smoked, you know, you can still smell it, and
separated by a large
I went right
Instead of
back
giving out the number like
to
888
smoking.
cocaine 1, did you say like
So,
New York 568?
people say try vaping, but vaping is just as bad.
Name in it with the word. Did you ever have one of those numbers?
I looked into vaping, and it's just as bad.
Not on the radio, but I remember my earliest phone numbers when I was in high school.
What one with the words in it?
No.
Oh, you don't go back
I've cut back on smoking,
right?
and I can tell that my lungs are starting to
all right, we'll be right back.
Clear up. I cough a lot since I've kind of slowed down.
All right, now we're going to talk about one of the few things older than the Steve Kane Show.
So yeah, your lungs can repair a little bit.
Offices of William Youngerman Incorporated in Boca. William Youngerman, how the metal's looking?
Well, the metal's looking very firm again.
But a little is a lot.
$7.10 on gold yesterday, closing out the day at $2,027.
I'm going to do it. I'm determined.
Closing at $23.80. Platinum gained $6.
If I need it, I've got the patch here. I've got the nicotine gum. I've got the lozenges. And I plan on getting a lot of straws because I'm going to be chewing on straws a lot.
$23.95, up 15 cents. Platinum up
You're on your way to work, D?
$9.47, and palladium up $6 at $1,180.
Drive safe.
So metals are doing fine, holding firm above $2,000 on gold, and
have a good day at work.
We were over $24 at one point today, but holding right around that $24 number for silver.
That's awesome.
3 days till retirement.
Gold, should be doing because gold's good, man. And you know, it's been money for 5,000 years, so I think it's a safe investment. When it comes to buying gold, if somebody comes in, they want to buy an ounce. What decides whether or not it's best for them to buy a coin or buy like a 1 ounce bar?
Actually, it doesn't make a lot of difference. It's just personal preference. Unless you're getting into a great quantity of gold or silver, but the options are numerous, and everybody can enjoy getting different kinds or all the same, whatever they prefer.
If somebody wanted to buy like say 10 ounces, would you recommend they buy 10 1 ounce coins or a 10 ounce bar?
That's the only position I would get the 10 1 ounce
well,
because
I wonder what I'm going to
fix. A single ounce rather than having to be selling a whole 10 ounce bar.
Pancakes.
Yeah, see, those the kind of things you can talk to William Youngman and his crew over there about.
I'll be right back.
You want to buy a new car, and you want a down payment. You don't want to sell the whole bar. You sell a couple ounces. All right, well, listen. Give William Youngman a call. He opens up at 10 a.m. His number, 1-800-327-5010. 1-800-327-5010. Online, WilliamYoungerman.com, or stop in 150 East Palmetto Park Road in Boca on the first floor of the Bank of America building just east of US 1 Federal Highway on the south side of Palmetto Park Road. All right, William Youngerman, we'll talk tomorrow.
Okay, have a great day. Thank you.
All right, back after this.
We take on the social justice warriors for breakfast. Now the Steve Kane Show is on the air.
All right, we are back. I'm Brian. Steve Kane, of course, is here. So Lara Logan, she is very good. And she was raped by multiple men at the Muslim Spring coverage. I can't remember where she was. Was she in Egypt? Does anyone remember where was she? And it's amazing that she's able to even continue. And I think it just made her better at her job because she's not going to let those monsters stop her, because she was a brave reporter then, and she's very brave now. She interviewed a congressman, Steve, Clay Higgins, and it's about January 6th,
Okay, I'm going to make
has information.
I'm going to make pancakes,
a lot of people will say, well,
sausage, and my husband bought me these little things for poached egg. He bought me these, so I'm going to try to cook this in the microwave.
I think, dropped
they're called, I don't know if you can see that,
information to
but
Lara
yeah, he
Logan.
bought
this is
me
Congressman
some of
Clay
these
Higgins,
for
with Lara Logan talking about
poached eggs.
January 6th.
So
Listen
when the
carefully to
time
this.
comes, I'm gonna make pancake,
that I'm
poached egg,
to reveal
and
that stuff, I will. I mean, if you
sausage
clearly have
for his
men
breakfast.
dressed as Trump supporters walking around inside
So
the
that's-
Capitol on the other side of police officers
So
who are
this thing is all new to me, so I don't know how it's gonna turn out, but I'll let you know.
a set of closed doors, like exterior doors and interior doors closed, and you have police officers positioned
So
outside.
this is going to be very interesting.
Doors, and then on the inside of the second set of doors won't open yet.
What
so if
time
you have
was
video, this was it. A couple of the videos that Trump was still speaking.
Okay, so now he's seen the videos, and he is confirming that locked doors inside the Capitol were opened by the police to allow the MAGA people to walk through them, but he's got more.
See?
And on the inside, look like Trump supporters walking around in groups of 5 or 6.
The police opened the door to the Capitol.
Separated physically and by doors and by police officers from the guys on the outside. So any reasonable man would come to the conclusion when you have videos of the doors being opened and police officers allowing Trump supporters that had gathered at the door to now enter, no violence, just walking in, just come on in, some fist bumps, and come in, a second set of doors open, and then there's a group of Trump supporters on the steps, the interior steps, saying, come on, this way. This way.
What is that?
Any reasonable man would look at that and say this was a coordinated effort by law enforcement to have these people come in. So who was that? It had to be, I think it's nefarious forces and part of the whole agenda of the FBI with their involvement of this whole thing. We have other evidence, specific observations of police officers, Capitol Police or Metro or both, entering rooms and here in the Capitol in uniform and coming out as Trump supporters and construction workers. So
okay, now this is amazing. So this is Congressman Clay Higgins from Louisiana. So there are witnesses that saw police officers go into rooms in police uniform and walk out dressed in MAGA gear, and some as construction workers inside the Capitol building. That shows.
And this was from a
pre-planning
congressman.
And conspiracy. I mean, this is. That's huge stuff. That the Republicans have witnesses to this, and that'll help them narrow down times and timestamps to see if that video exists, and if it doesn't, an investigation on who destroyed it. The unfortunate thing about the aftermath of January 6th is that it's going to go, because the fake news media set a narrative in the beginning. That'll become the main historical record because the liberals write the history. So all these things we're hearing, is, no matter how many people testify, no matter how much evidence, even video, it's going to always be conspiratorial theory, like the JFK assassination.
I will be going in a few.
I've heard a high-ranking government official who's seen the tapes and spoken to witnesses who said that police officers went into rooms as police officers and came out dressed as MAGA people. That's pretty big. That's huge, Steve. And let me see if he's got anything else to say, because we're almost done with it.
You've seen that?
Yeah, so...
Why has that video not been released yet?
One would say that's a pretty good clue.
Yeah.
The other reason that we believe is just practical to have someone that knows how to get around. I mean, you know yourself, you can't walk around this place and know where you're going. You have to be here for years and years.
The Capitol is a maze.
That's right, and it's incredibly difficult to get around. You have to know where you're going. So you had to have people that were very familiar with the Capitol itself in order to lead some random groups of citizens that have
come from every corner of the country. In many cases, never been to D.C. before, much less walked around in the Capitol. So it just makes sense that the Trump supporters that were leading the way and were clearly already inside the Capitol before the doors were opened were working in coordination with the FBI agents and assets that were embedded into the crowd. In some cases, in these groups had been embedded for months. This is ugly stuff we're discussing, but the American people deserve to know the truth, and I intend to see that it happens.
Wow. Okay. So that's interesting. So then another thing he just dropped is that the feds had been infiltrated for months in the MAGA movement. Isn't that something? Isn't that something? So this interview, because Lara Logan has been sidelined by mainstream media for some reason. She's probably because she's such a great reporter, and you're not really supposed to be that. That is one of the most important January 6th interviews I've ever heard, and there's tons of new information there. The police officers changing into MAGA clothes, and this whole thing, I never even heard anybody talk about this, about the leaders.
Is it going to become common knowledge, or is it going to disappear?
I just got it new this morning. This is a new interview, and hopefully people...
But what are you guessing? What are you guessing?
I think it'll be suppressed like the gay sex scandal in the Senate room.
I'm afraid that's true.
Yeah, but we got to share with our audience what's out there, not just what the rest of the media are parroting, because this is huge. His name's Clay Higgins. I did tweet this. If you guys go to my Twitter, you can get that and share it on your social media. Share this show on your social media too, because this is huge, important stuff, and you're hearing about it first. Now, listen, there's a lot of great gifts you can give people for Christmas or any other holiday. This one doesn't need a holiday. Give them the gift of their life back without pain. And, if you or a family member are suffering with pain, go see Dr. Appleton. Take them to see Dr. Appleton.
Wrapped up
Rid them
like
of their pain. His laser
I don't know
pain
why I
treatment
got
works.
that
It's relieving
dang
pain
song
5
in my
times.
mind.
It works on pretty much every type
I
of
need to
pain.
get some music in here. I'm about to go
list of some of the
nuts.
major ones that I go over all the time. You've heard me talk about it. If you're suffering with pain, you don't have to. I thought pain was just part of growing older, and I'm getting older, and I was like, well, that's like you with the neuropathy. I thought, well, I'm older, I'm in pain, I got arthritis, that's my life now, I guess I'm like my grandma. I remember she had arthritis. No, living with arthritis, living with pain, living with bursts.
Gifts, cookies, and a good time could all be found at Christmas in the Creek. The Turnout Blue event organizers' expectations out of the water. TV20's Kayla Lewis tells us how long people waited for the event.
You get a car, they get a truck, they get a dinosaur.
Jonah and many other children were excited to make it to Santa's toy shop, and people waited hours just to get in. Thousands have made their way out here to
Otter Creek, you made it to the news.
Take a look behind me. This line just keeps on going. Gates opened at 5 p.m. and the last car wasn't parked until around 8:15 after cars were lined up all the way to Chiefland. After you make it through the big line, you'll enter Santa's toy shop where you can find bikes, skateboards, stuffed animals, and more. And then at the end, you can take a picture with Santa and Mrs. Claus. The goal of Christmas in the Creek is to spread joy and give free gifts to kids of all ages.
I think this is really great what they're doing for kids and families who maybe can't afford to have a good Christmas. I think this is really good.
YouTuber Jeremy Hales gathered donations and bought toys himself to fill Santa's shop with 10,000 free toys. And kids like Jonah lit up when it was their turn to look around.
10,000 toys given to
All
kids.
of the gifts were unwrapped, and kids were able to pick out 5.
You can pick out what you want, and you can actually see what you want and pick it out without being surprised on Christmas.
The bad weather didn't put a damper on anyone's spirits, not even the Grinch. People were filled with happiness after seeing their kids meet Santa and get to pick out toys.
Is that a Care Bear?
How cute.
Hales says he couldn't hold this event last year because the mayor at the time wouldn't let him, but now he hopes to go even bigger next year for all the kids. In Otter Creek, Kayla Lewis, TV 20 News.
Awesome. Okay, my show is over, so got a few more minutes before I have to call it off. I got to fill out Christmas cards. I know it's kind of late to send out Christmas cards, but I'm getting late Christmas cards this year, so They'll get theirs. Blinded. Ah, there I go again.
Midnight. It doesn't matter. It's all.
Sorry. Whoops. Oh my goodness. Blinded by the light, wrapped up like a douche in the moon and the night. Okay. Have y'all heard this song? You heard Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, but have you heard of Randolph the Rootin' Tootin' Cowboy? Okay. Randolph the Rootin' Tootin' Cowboy had a very shiny gun, and if you ever saw it, you would turn around and run. All of the other cowboys used to laugh and call him names. They never let poor Randolph join in any poker games. Then one summer afternoon, Sheriff came to say, Randolph, with your gun so bright, won't you shoot my wife tonight? Then how the cowboys loved him as they shouted out with glee, Randolph the Rootin' Tootin' Cowboy, you'll go down in history. That's the song that when I was a kid that we would all sing when we were kids. Randolph the Rootin' Tootin' Cowboy. But yeah, that's the song that they all made up. So whenever I'm in the car and Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer comes on, I'd be singing Randolph the Rootin' Tootin' Cowboy. That's the one song that stuck to me all these years when I was a kid. Randolph the Rootin' Tootin' Cowboy. So, and now I'm going to be singing that all day. Darn it. Oh, that's so bad. All right, my good friends. All the people that are sitting behind, just being watchers. Have a great day. I'm going to call it a day, a morning, and get ready to go cook breakfast and start my day. Yeah. Yeah. We had a good time back then. I wish it was like that now. I wish it was, if the kids had only known nowadays how good it was when we were all kids. All right, good people. We'll talk to y'all later. I hope you have a wonderful day. And we'll talk to you later. Bye.